All right, let's get this party started.
Look at my misshapen way.
I don't care for Doctor Who like a 12-year-old looking for a show I watched when I was 12. Assembling the pieces, scrying and crying, whether it's spewing bile or bulk amounts of filler.
Doctor Who tube is a dumpster fire, and this is its dumpster flower.
So we open with the tale of a fire, one elaborated on by writer Innua Ellams in an online for free prose story told from young Omo's perspective. I like the animated sequence and its accompanying folktale. In a minute, it sets a visually strong right foot forward. The credits beginning in a canvas in the wall. The hyper alert traffic lights in the barber shop are expected to pay off and segue into the post-credits TARDIS roundels on ambient setting. Addressing Belinda not getting home, the Doctor hits on an idea. The direction suggests oh so hyper emotion, but Gatwa plays up the line's absent-minded implication, giving it a welcome tone of Dr. Yor.
Why did I not think of this before? We can boost the Vindicator if we go to... of course!
The episode is set in 2019, where Resolution was the only Doctor Who episode to air, thereby freeing up Ncuti Gatwa's schedule. Racial divisions and social cohesion played differently for this Doctor in Africa, segueing nicely into the last of the Time Lord's spiel of longer lore. Renegade outcast exiled. And the Doctor gets on very cozy for people he's just met. Very pat on the back. It's a bit knowing. Too knowing. We're expected to believe these people know the Doctor wearing Gatwa's face. Hold on to that recognition of a differently faced being, as I want to come back to it later, but to say for now that it doesn't really bother me. Headcanon. From citing the missing posters, writer Innua Ellams gives us a rapid acceleration to a showdown in the barber shop. It's got final scene feels, descends over those rapids into everyday chaos of any community barber shop, and teeters on the edge for another animated folktale. There's something amiss in the shop, a monster, a jail enough of a horror bottle episode to remind me of the conclusion to Sapphire and Steel with its perpetual existential cage, or perhaps Twin Peaks in the Black Lodge with Dale Cooper. This episode's writer is Innua Ellams, a Nigerian poet and playwright with a string of classy commendations. Writing for the Royal Shakespeare Company, a Fellow for the Royal Society of Literature, and in 2023 awarded the OBE. He's performed one-man shows at the Edinburgh Fringe, the Soho Theatre, and the Hay Festival, so a class of prestige we'd not seen on Doctor Who for some time. The big thematic tie-in is his play, Barbershop Chronicles, set in a black barber shop, set in 6 of them in 6 cities on a single day, with a backdrop of a Chelsea-Barcelona football match. And the place explores a lot of different themes around community, culture, conversation, and religion. It was produced by the National Theatre. Ellams integrates the high concepts thoroughly, like he's written SF many times before, filling his pages with community conversations and micro deliveries of fables, presumably as a poet's skill, making use of only a few words to lead a reader's journey. And as a playwright, he'll have to set up a world and characters quickly, immersing the audience, pulling them through the unfolding events. And all the people in this trap have stories. The production's choice of multivariable light patterns and alert sound is alternative to cloister bells, which keep the story fueled. For example, and Belinda's hospital narrative is a good way of keeping the errata set through inside a story which seems to be a lock-in. I've had a laugh with my problems with this moment from Ruby Road.
Name? The Doctor. Occupation? Not a doctor.
The problems hark back to the introduction of Freema Agyeman as Martha in Smith and Jones. It was a great series opener for giving promise in a new companion, which I felt was largely squandered later. This line here.
What, people call you the Doctor?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not. As far as I'm concerned, you've got to earn that title.
What a line. Martha's promise is being delivered by Belinda in each appearance. All of me judges a frontline responder, particularly a medic, as the most important profession among our species. The most noble thing. That we get these real heroes represented is the real title of the show, The Doctor Who Sustains. And it's validated, waitfully, in Ellams' text.
Look how much his hair has grown.
Goodness, I have to start all over again. The Doctor's fallout with Omo cuts to a number one for both of them. Kappa poignantly expresses betrayal. Omo offers up less, which in this case works because we've seen the terror and his motives, keeping his community safe, and the knowledge that the Doctor is his one friend who can bail him out. Sulu Rimi, as Omo, gives an understated performance. Yeah, you should hitch a ride in the back of a turtle. So much more elegant and calming. Massively fantastic directing in Belinda's search for the barber shop. Utterly delicate pacing that feels tense. In fact, the whole production is top-notch. Director Macallum McPherson deserves full props for directing this episode. You can see more of her work on Waterloo Road, Shondaland, and Queen Charlotte from Netflix.
I used to call it the World Wide Web.
Until the humans name something far uglier after that.
Oi! Ariane Bakari gives us a subdued performance as a barber in the first half. Obvious villain presence, never centre stage. I doubted his reveal as a god, visually and verbally powerful though it is, because this seemed to mythological story arc enormous, and especially with a guest writer of realism setting this in an everyday location. It does seem to kick out the fan theory that Mrs. Flood is the god of stories, and the Doctor's response is delightful.
I begin all things!
So my suspicions were proved wrong. The Doctor knows the gods, hung out with them. He claimed the same thing in Lux, far less convincingly. But this feels real. The coming of the gods is something that's been building since the Devil's Cord, which suggests this episode is happening in an audience future. The stories we are yet to see. And the gods are not all destructive, we are told. The barber backs down. He's a storyteller, a janitor to the gods.
I was once human. Wherever they told stories, I went. I told their myths, their legends, cleaned them up, printed them in books, so that the gods could be worshipped. That was my job. They only exist now.
The glimpse of the Palazzo Theatre forwards that this is the real truth. I wasn't so familiar with the story of Anansi and Abena. Some of you already know Anansi myths are from the Akan people in what's now Ghana, and he's a god associated with folklore and wisdom. He defies social order, but as a trickster spider, he also incorporates it. And he's bald, stupid, bald, dumb spider. No, actually, he's smart. He's outsmarting smart and creative. Abena is a creation wholly of Innua Ellams, though in the tales of Elois Sutherland, Anansi had one daughter, the beautiful Anansi. In Sutherland's 1975 work, The Marriage of Anansi, the daughter is promised by her fathers to 4 suitors at once. Realizing his predicament, Anansi asks her to fake her own death. One of the fiancés, grief-stricken, offers to pay for the funeral. This is Chief who is chief. And at that point, Anansi drops a ruse and springs from the coffin. The reveal of the fugitive doctor is a really well-concealed joy, and Joe Martin stamps just how big this whole episode is in terms of the myth arc. Traditionally, it's the site of the TARDIS, which identifies a trans regeneration. As I mentioned earlier, I have no problems with other recognitions of the Doctor with a different form. In my fan fiction, Skin of the Teeth, appearing in Horrified Press's 12, and in a different spec script for Big Finish, I suggested this. It began with a story built on the story of Tom Baker visiting Mersey Street Primary School, Belfast, in 1978. He was on holiday, but God bless him, he showed up in dress and in character. In this often forgotten part of the Who Now verse, the Doctor delivered so much joy to a classroom full of kids. I was researching the tale in 2011 when I discovered the school had been closed and converted into housing with its original structure still in place. Even more astonishing, a number of ex-pupils rented out the apartments. They're all classrooms. Skin of the Teeth forwarded that these kids recognized the Doctor in his physical form through the caring link they built together. And a twist again. Just after I submitted my final draft to Horrified Press for the 50th anniversary collection, I stepped outside. My neighbour, musician David McQueen, was there too, also taking a smoke outside his home. I enthusiastically told him about the Mersey Street narrative, and David then told me he was in the classroom that very day. Well, it's not every day you write a story and discover someone you know was inside it all along. Anyway, back to the story in the engine.
Severing the gods from the story web, cutting them.
I appreciate this line as a polytheist. Polytheism, or pantheism as I describe my outlook, is if you have a god, I believe. Gods are so linked to global culture and storytelling. Can we prove a god doesn't exist with all those connections? Also, belief is a thing. As much as we can prove gods exist and simultaneously gods don't exist, made you smile, atheist, the embedding of these entities is bound to DNA and memetics as a support structure. Removing that can benefit the intellect, but there needs to be a support structure in place. Otherwise, you're just conducting psychic surgery without anesthetic. I love the correlation between hair patterns and the story courses of slaves and slave masters. It's really clever.
So the women would weave maps into their hair.
The labyrinth is a smart twist on the mock trope of running down corridors.
Well, yes, I mean,
The magical back room, the story engine.
Beating heart inside a brain.
Brilliant.
The movements of Gatwa and Ellis even look like a stage play. The older Doctor's recount steps over being tired by using the power of Hemingway's favourited short, which makes Joe Martin's appearance a narrative harbinger and is central to the final act.
I don't even have a name for people to trust. Try Adetokumbo.
Adi Tokumbo is both a surname and given name from Nigerian language Yoruba. The first name has been applied to those who went on to become stars in basketball. It means the crown or royalty from across the sea. The barber's resolution feels a bit too quick to me, a bit too much like, yes, Sabretooth, a little off the back and sides. Could you do my ears and nose hair, bro? It all depends on how much notice Omo is going to work before retiring. Next time on It's Eurovision episode, They all look like cats. Gasp, mullet, anti-grav, spinning. Oh, hell, it's not more of your RTD Love Darling Glitter Alley dinner show, is it? Fuck that. Only joking, I'm sure it'll be great. So, almost done. Typically, I write Doctor Who dumpster floor during my first watch, pausing the show to make parts of the script. When an episode is slower or it finds me restless, I write in shorthand, hit pause, and fully flesh out my analysis while having a smoke in the garden. This time round, it was gut-wrenching to hit pause. I dashed back to the screen. Ellams has given us a tale jam-packed with content. So much micro-fiction, so many offerings for substantial tangents on myth, culture, and sociology, and many more besides. There's a lot of great material on this in Doctor Who Unleashed, the official behind-the-scenes supplement. Perhaps for reasons of time, it omits the striking work of visual artist Bunmi Augusto. Bunmi's portfolio conveys no stranger to myth, folklore, and magic. Though it's dreamlike, her artist's statement suggests pieces like the work on screen have strong links with reality, a fantasy world she calls within. To quote, "The figures in her work are often family, friends, and passers-by, pulled from reality and into her world as cross-reality migrants through their encounters with her. Born in Lagos and of Yoruba descent, her roots come to bear on story and engine. In an episode packed with visual splendor, despite the time on screen, Bunmi's paintings stand out. The actors, set, SFX, every part of the production is top detail prestige. I feel confident that this is the best of the newest era of Who. It probably even ranks in the top 5 Doctor Who episodes of all time. What a nice note to end on. I'd like to thank all my Patreon subscribers whose names are appearing on screen now. You can sign up to a paid tier without paying for full access. Payments are paused on Patreon until 1st of July at the very earliest, and I'll notify you in good time ahead of them resuming. I ask you to comment below, keeping your words spoiler-free, please, as to subsequent episodes. What stands out to you as things to cherish in this episode? Are there insights you'd like to share, which you've learned? Who is the little girl? Does Belinda know Mrs. Flood as Mrs. Flood, do you think? I'll see you in the comments.